good, hearty British food where you can taste the ingredients. So first of all, I'm going to brown my meat. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in my pan. Traditionally, they would have used dripping, but I'm using olive oil. I'm going to brown my meat. 700 grams of lamb neck. And it's got the bone in because bone has more flavour. Now you need to get your pan searingly hot for this. Mine is spitting away there, I can hear it. And I'm going to pop around 700 grams of neck fillet, lamb neck fillet, into the pan to brown. We're not going to cook it, we're going to cook it properly in the slow cooker, but I am going to brown each side, so we want a nice crust on each side. There's a little bit left over there that I'll put in a minute, so I'll just wash my hands. So I put a liner in my slow cooker. These are great things, these liners, because essentially it saves on mess and cleaning up of your rather large, rather heavy crock pot. But sometimes they do break, but it's better than nothing. Okay, so let's have a look at these lambs. Oh, a little bit longer. I want a bit of a crust on them, so I'm going to turn them up a bit. This is an old recipe, and there's many different variations on it. The reason why there's so many different variations is because housewives just used what they had available to them at the time, which maybe wouldn't be what I'm using today. They would maybe add different ingredients to me, or more of one and none of another. It is a varied recipe. Getting some browning on them, that's good. Don't overcrowd your pan when you're doing this, because it can stop the meat from browning, and what it can do is basically stew it, and we don't want to stew it. The Welsh version of it does use lamb. However, there's a lot of versions of this where you can add other ingredients as well, other meats. So if you had if you've got like a little bit of lamb lying around, throw that in. If you've got a bit of ham lying around, throw that in. If you've got a bit of beef lying around, have that in there. You can mix it up. It all adds flavour to the broth. In fact, in days gone by, they never actually seared the lamb. This is just a new thing. They just used to pop it in the pot and cook it over the fire. I'm just going to pop those in there. I've also got some stewing steak to add in, which I will be doing. There's about 500 grams of stewing steak here. Yes, it's a lot, but it'll do a lot of meals. And I'm told by Jane Grigson in her book about English cooking, the flavour given of 2 different types of meat for this recipe is a lot better than just using one. And I'll come back to you when this is all done. Once you've cooked all your meat, deglaze your pan with some water. But we do want all the juices and all the flavourings. Look at the colour of that. We want all of that off the bottom of the pan. Pop it into our slow cooker. And then I'm going to start adding vegetables. 1 whole turnip. There we go. Which is traditional. 2 celery stalks and 2 onions. And they've been chopped fairly chunkily. It looks like a lot, but it will go down, I promise you. Some carrots. Now, just do as many as you want. I have done there quite a few, maybe about 5 or 6, but they were thin and small and what have you. But I've cut them up rather chunkily, as you can probably see from that. And that's what you need, because this is going to be on the go for a while. 2 bay leaf. 1, 2. 2 stalks of, well, 2 large stalks of rosemary. Pop that in. A fairly hefty wadge of thyme. And they can come out later. Then I'm going to add about 2 pints of water to it. Some salt and some pepper. Quickly give it a shuffle, just so the herbs get down there more than anything, because we want the herbs to flavour everything. And we're going to put it on high, so if I switch it on, first of all, might help. 4.5 hours. And we'll see how it is in 4 hours. My stew has been on for about 3 hours now. Yep, 3 hours. And I'm going to add some potatoes to it. So here we go. And we're going to give it another few hours, just because of the volume in here, really, more than anything. This is hot as well, guys. So I'm going to give it a couple more hours. Now, you may think these potatoes will go mush. They won't go to mush. They won't, because these are new potatoes, not old potatoes. So I'm going to pop them in. Traditionally, this was done in a pan, not in a slow cooker. On that goes. And back for another 2 hours, and then we'll come back and taste it. Okay, so this has been on now for approximately 5 hours on high. It's very full. Seen it, bay leaf there that I can take out. I'm going to take these bits of lamb out now and put the meat back in. That's what I'm going to do here, which is what they used to do back in the day. I'm going to take out all the bits of, as my husband would say, garden, and pop them out. And if I can find the other bay leaf, I'll get rid of that. Oh, look, one of those chops has fell apart already. I'm going to go and get a plate, and I'm going to sort out the meat from the bone and pop it back in. I've got 2 forks here. I'm not going to shred it. I'm just going to pull it off the bone. So, here we go. Just pull it off. Oh, it's just coming off like, I don't know, like butter. Like butter. Now, neck fillet is a little bit more fatty than most, but it is a good flavour. Discarded bones into here. Having the bones in helps with the flavour. If you don't have the bones in, it won't. You maybe need to use stock cubes more than anything. There are several different versions and different cultures for this recipe as well. The Irish call it Irish stew. This is taken from a recipe for cawl, or cawl as they call it, cawl, in Wales. The French have something known as pot au feu, which is their version of a similar type of stew. Yeah, we all have our own sort of versions of the same things. Basically make do. Use up and make do, which is what we had to do back in the day. I say we, I'm not that old, but you get where I'm coming from with it. If you want to add other herbs to this, feel free, go ahead. As I say, this is one of those stews, casseroles, soups, whatever you want to call it, that will, you know, that would have been adjusted according to what people had in the house at the time. Don't feel you can just stick to what I've put in. This is a base recipe to give you some idea of what things were like. And from there, there's another bit, I can see it there. From there you can kind of work on that. As you can see, it looks like an Irish stew. It isn't, but it looks like one. But this is cawl, or coal, as they call it. We call it. Don't give up the day job, Mrs. O. Right, what I'm going to do now is check it for seasonings. So, get a teaspoon and give it a try. So this is my juice. Tastes nice, but it needs salt, and quite a bit of salt. Don't worry about the amount of salt that I'm going to put in here, because don't forget, whoops, pepper first of all. Don't forget there is a lot, and I mean a lot of veg in here. In days gone by, people would use veg as a filler, and in the war, you ate even more of it. So now in this instance, unlike most other stews, or casseroles or soups, whatever you want to call it, what they used to do was serve the soup first, and the soup part is this part here. So they serve that as a starter. There's my other bit. And then they would serve the meat and vegetables as the main course. And in Wales, they used to serve it, the starter, with crusty bread and Caerphilly cheese. So if you fancy doing that, there you go. So I'm just gonna check it again for seasonings, just to make sure I've got enough in. You know, it could do with more. The thing is, it's got quite a volume. This is what I remember my mum making as Irish stew back in the day. She used to make a lot of Irish stew, and this reminds me of it. Look at it. Actually, that is a lot better now. That's great. Okay, so I'm going to switch this off for now. And that will be our tea tomorrow. Leaving it overnight is going to make it even more flavourful. This is the Welsh Cawl, and just look at it. You can see all those lovely vegetables. Really healthy, actually. Or at least you're going to get 1 of your 5 a day, aren't you? Let's have a look. So this is some of the meat there. Delicious. You can really taste the meat coming through in the stock here. Because let's be fair, this is a stock. Tasty. Good, hearty British food, where you can taste the ingredients. It's not covered in garlic, it's not covered in anything too extreme. Just basic ingredients that you can get all around the country, and you can make it your own. Why don't you give it a whirl? If you like what I'm doing, hit me up with a thumbs up. That would be appreciated. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that I'm doing. Leave a comment below if you make this cawl in any other way, Irish stew or pot au feu, anything like that. Let me know. Or if you make it with different ingredients, let me know. We've all got our own little take on it. Anyway, for now, Liz out.